There's a lot of reports going around on the legacy media and the alleged right leaning press that I tried to cover on the weekend, but I want to go into it in a bit more detail. It says here the Daily Mail headline: Rupert Lowe's Restore Party vows to end Nigel Farage's career. First of all, I do find that the frame is quite disingenuous. When you dig into the article itself, it doesn't say anything of the sort. They are saying that if the parliamentary investigation with Farage forces Parliament to intervene and to give him a suspension of over 10 days, it can trigger a by election in Clacton. Now, just for context, it's about a donation that was received by Farage prior to him agreeing to stand for election for Reform UK in 2024. This is not taxpayers' money. This is a private donation from a private citizen who has since decided to register as a British citizen for tax purposes, so to make it a little less unedifying. For context, again, and for clarity on my position, more power to anybody who can source a £5 million gift from a private source. I've got no problem with that. Someone offered me £5 million, I'd take it. There's nothing wrong with that at all. The establishments and the legacy parties are trying to make political hay out of it to level the playing field because their guy, Tuti Akir, has been slung out. He is out on their ear. And so they are trying to weaken the right wing vote and the right leaning parties to level that playing field and to try to give Burnham a bit of a leg up when he comes in as Prime Minister. That's my view and that's my thoughts on the actual detail of the donation. They've known about it for 2 years, but now it's a problem. Now it's a problem. Yeah, I don't buy that at all. I'm not convinced by that. But what I want to get into is the sniping and the back and forth between different factions on the right. I don't really engage with things like this because it's unedifying and it doesn't really serve a purpose.
You're on my foot, fat shit! What did I say?
Ow, don't!
It may give you a momentary dopamine hit in the short term, but that's pretty much it. So we're going to get into that now. First of all, from Jack Hadfield, the absolute nerve of Rupert to demand unity on the right when he wants to take out Farage in any way possible. You can't ask for unity now if your entire purpose is to be a wrecker. We should work together on this issue, obviously, but it's sheer hypocrisy. This is in reference to Rupert Lowe reaching his hand out across Parliament to look for consensus in blocking the new safe and legal routes for more dinghy divers to arrive into Britain. So there won't be dinghy diving anymore, there'll be plane hopping. Jack Hadfield is using the context and the contents of this Mail article to make his arguments that he has a goal, he has a nerve. And then the response to this is from somebody on Team Rupert's side. Farage is the wrecker. He decided to snub a chunk of reform support, and in doing so, they went elsewhere. You can all attack Rupert all you want, but Farage had literally everyone willing to support him until he cocked it right up. I tend to side with that sentiment personally. And this is the thing we need to understand. We are on the same team. We're all on the right side of things, in my view. We have different approaches and views on how to get there. We should never lose sight of it. What I find curious and what I find strange, and I've always found this strange, is there seems to be a lot of question marks around what Reform UK's actual game is. And I want to lay out a bit of a timeline and then you can draw your own conclusions. I'm not making those conclusions myself. I'm just going to lay out the evidence. Reform UK was polling about 10% before the last general election. And then within a few weeks, they got to about 15%. And then Nigel Farage decided to come back into the political fray when it looked like it was going to be possible for him to take the seat in Clacton and actually get into Parliament after, I think it was 6 previous times trying to get into Parliament. And he finally achieved that. And Reform UK also elected another three MPs, Richard Tice, Rupert Lowe, and James McMurdoch. Only 50% of the MPs elected are still with Reform UK. This is what I'm concerned about. Why was James McMurdoch removed from Reform UK? Why was Rupert Lowe? Why did they eject Ben Habib as the deputy leader of Reform UK? Now, I have it's a theory. My theory is that the grassroots and people like Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib were going further right than the leadership, being Richard Tyson and Nigel Farage, had intended. At this point, when Farage came back into the fold from the ceremonial leader to an actual leader of the party, Tice may have got wind of something that he wasn't happy with. Tice may have got a bee in his bonnet about maybe a power struggle between Rupert Lowe, Ben Habib, and Richard Tice over the direction of the party. There has always been a division within Reform UK about the aspirations of the grassroots and the aspirations of the leadership wanting to replace the Tory party. And that came to a head in February last year when Rupert Lowe was ejected from the party. And this is why Restore Britain was set up, firstly as a movement and now as a political party. Nobody who is loyal to Reform UK should have a problem with Restore Britain. It is forcing the conversation rightward. It is forcing conversations that many in the political establishment, like Farage, like Tice, and the legacy parties, didn't want to have regarding mass deportations and regarding demographic security in our own country and what it means to be English or what it means to be British. These are conversations that should be allowed. All opinions are valid, and as of yet, the political parties haven't got an answer. I have an answer. I know what it means to be English. I know what it means to be British. And it's deeply personal to me. So, this is what I want to ask the audience and ask the people watching this video. What does it mean to be British? What does it mean to be English? Can you be both? Is it open to all and sundry, or is it a very exclusive club for the people of these islands to be English, Scottish, Welsh, and Northern Irish under the Union Jack? Reform UK should be grateful that Restore Britain is a thing because it is keeping the management of Reform UK honest and it is forcing the difficult conversations that we need to reckon with in the United Kingdom. This is positive. There is no downside here. There is all killer and no filler. When I see the people from Reform UK, the leadership of Reform UK, continue to snipe at Restore Britain, they're doing it from a position of weakness, not a position of strength. I would implore unity. I would implore people to work together wherever possible for the betterment of Britain. This is the prize, is maintaining the country for the future generations. This isn't about ego. I've been to a few Restore Britain meetings and events recently. I had imposter syndrome. I felt I didn't belong. I felt that nobody's going to care what I think or say. Who am I? And then I realised this is exactly what the establishment wants. This is exactly what the legacy parties want. They want to give off the impression that not only do you not have a valid opinion, but you don't have a voice. And a lot of people who were loyal to Reform UK seen that mask slip when Richard Tice referred to us as that lot if you happen to attend a Unite the Kingdom rally. And this is another reason why there is currently the warring factions. Who do you trust to be king of the right? Do you trust Nick Tanconi of UKIP? Do you trust Ben Habib? Do you trust Rupert Lowe? Do you trust Reform UK? All opinions, as I say, are valid and I welcome an open discourse and debate. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been illuminating.